What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Xbox Dive Show. My name is Jamie, and I am one of your hosts on this wonderful, wonderful Xbox journey. And you all know my co-host, Mr. Chris White.
Hello, James. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mixer. Hello, world of Xbox. God bless America. You know what I mean? It's 4th of July week. Shot some fireworks, ate some hamburgers. Good. You know what I mean? It's been great. Got some spray tan, and
you need
making
it.
making America great again. Making America great again. That's what we're doing here.
Well, actually, Chris, first I want to say I'm glad we're actually recording now because we had some technical difficulties earlier. We planned to record hours ago, but then, work and all this stuff happened and just never happened. So now we are live, ready to roll. So it should be an awesome, awesome show.
That's the plan.
Before we get into all the wonderful Xbox convo, let's kind of shoot off some quick shout outs. First, I'd like to say a very wonderful thank you to Antonio. I want to say Gian,
yeah.
Yes,
Antonio
got it right that time. Perfect.
Yep.
If you have seen our wonderful intro, he actually created that for us. Also, if we know a lot of you are multi-console owners, such as us. He has a brand new show out called Switch Talk. So if you are a Nintendo guy, make sure to check that out. I also want to give a quick shout out to a Ben Horner. He is actually in our Xbox Dive Facebook group, so make sure to go there and follow us. We have a lot of great conversation. The reason I want to give him a quick shout out, he actually went on there and put his own poll up on our page, and that's exactly what we want. We want conversation with you guys. We want to know what you guys are interested in. And he put a poll up kind of asking, what are the factors that are affecting us at getting our Xbox One? Are we waiting for a sale? Are we going to get it as is? Would a sale affect our decision? So, go on there and check out his poll. That is awesome, Ben. Thank you for doing that. One more shout out I want to give to Chuck. I hope I'm saying this right. Scherer. He actually gave a great comment on our last episode. We asked for feedback and he gave it to us. We are very, very thankful for that, Chuck. That is awesome. Pretty much what he said, he was talking about crossplay. And he said that he believes that crossplay isn't going to be a fad. Because, one thing we asked is, this a one-time shot or is this something bigger? His dream, I don't know if this will happen or not, it will be amazing, but his dream is that one day we see double-sided discs. Where if you buy a game, one side will be Xbox, one side will be PlayStation, and you can just kind of flip it and put it in whatever system you want. That would be buy one game, play it wherever you want. That'd be pretty cool.
Pretty cool idea, yeah. I mean, I had actually never thought about that, but it made me remember. They used to do this with DVDs where they would put like the special features on one side,
right,
and then the movie on the other. And I always hated it because I was always a stickler about not wanting to get fingerprints on my DVDs, and so you always had to hold it because both sides were so precious. But yeah, I mean that could definitely work. Mm-hmm. Again, to ever see the two companies working hand in hand like that is hard to imagine, but it is definitely a realistic possibility that could work. So that's cool.
And that actually, speaking of double-sided discs, it made me think back when I had an HD DVD player. Because almost every single HD DVD was double-sided. DVD on one side, HD DVD on the other.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Oh, by the way, Chris, I think you're the one that shared the news because this kind of goes in with Xbox because the One S plays 4K Blu-rays.
That's right.
And Disney is releasing their very first 4K Blu-ray. Chris,
waiting for it.
Let our listeners know, what is Disney's very first 4K Blu-ray?
Oh, probably the best movie of the year so far, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is going to be dropping. Oh, it's going to be dropping in October, and the movie is just fantastic. But yeah, a lot of people have been, asking about this. I mean, we've had, 4K Blu-rays have really kind of been a thing for over a year
Mm-hmm.
now. And so we've seen some big Disney releases, including, things like Civil War
Mm-hmm.
and then Beauty and the Beast, which just came out, and people have been wanting Disney to go to those 4K,
Yeah.
ultra Blu-rays, and so they finally said they're doing it starting in October, with the first release being Volume 2 of Guardians, and so you can expect to be buying all of your favorite Disney movies one more time in the coming
Well,
future.
many,
So
many more times.
that's right. That's right.
I'm especially looking forward to like Pixar and Disney animation. Like the next
Sure.
Wreck-It Ralph in 4K.
Oh
Gonna
man,
look great.
I'm excited for that movie in
Yeah,
general. But
it's gonna be
yes,
good. And that's actually also video game related. So we're keeping it all in the loop here. But
that's right.
real quick, just to knock off a couple of notes here. If you are listening to this on YouTube, we thank you for that. Or if you're watching on the live stream on mixer.com/the Xbox Dive, make sure to comment. We love that. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. That would be awesome. Also, every Monday, you can get the audio version of this on iTunes and the Google Play Store. And if you go there, make sure to rate us and comment there as well. We would absolutely love it. It would be great. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Xbox Dive. Like I mentioned earlier, our YouTube page, subscribe on that, because we also have other videos going up there as well. The final thing I want to mention, just like I said earlier, make sure to go on to our Facebook community group. That's where we have all these polls. Later in the show, we're going to be talking about one of our topics. We always have one topic picked by the community. So if you want to help us build this show, make sure to go to the Xbox Dive Facebook community group. That would be fantastic. Now, before we get into our big topics, let's talk about what we've been playing. And I guess let me kick it off this week, just because I want to say that the Xbox game sale was insane. Like I was going down the list of all the games I purchased. I mean, just the ones I'm thinking off the top of my head. I got Little Nightmares plus all the DLC. I got Thimbleweed Park. I got the BioShock collection. I got the Metro double pack because I'm wanting to play
the
that.
Redux. Yeah,
I got Tropico 5 because I've always loved the Tropico games. I've always played them on PC though. I'm kind of interested to see how it'll play on Xbox. But that sale was so good. Before I hop into what else I've been playing, Chris, was there anything else? I was like, what did you buy on the sale?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week, and I don't think I ended up picking up anything else. I still have like 3 games that are right on the bubble that I haven't pulled the trigger on yet. I know. Well, it's through the 10th, so I got a couple more days to iron it all out. But yeah, I mean, so far I've ended up with, I bought the Redux 2 as well. I bought Guardians of the Galaxy the season pass. I bought the second half of the first season of Minecraft Telltale game. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Telltale fan.
Oh, yeah, I got that too. I forgot Minecraft. Yeah. I also have that.
Yep. So I got that. I got something else. Anyway,
it's a great sale when you forget.
Can't remember the stuff that you buy.
How many games you bought.
So right now on the bubble for me is I have Yooka-Laylee, which is not a good sale. That's the only reason I haven't immediately pulled the trigger.
How much?
It's only $10. It's only $10 off. So it's a $39.99 game. It's only $29.99. Okay. But then Titanfall
price.
Yeah, that's true. So Titanfall 2 is $20, which is a good price for that. And that was one that I skipped last fall because I ended up going the Battlefront way, or Battlefield 1 way. So those 2 were on the bubble, and then there was one more. Anyway, so I have a couple that are Thimbleweed Park's on my list too, which I haven't pulled. And then Abzu. I really want Abzu. So anybody who has followed us for any amount of time know that I have this aversion to water in games. And so I think Abzu looks absolutely fantastic, and I've heard great things. But every time I click through the screens, I find myself wondering if I can really actually play it. So so I haven't pulled the trigger. So there's a few that are on the bubble. I got a couple days to think it out. I probably will end up picking up at least 1 or 2 more games by the time it's over.
Now, Thimbleweed Park, I bought that, and I love the old school point-and-click adventure games, right? They're so good. Monkey Island, King's Quest, Maniac Mansion, I loved all those games. Now, with that, it's a play anywhere title.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it on my PC with a mouse because I feel like that's the way it should be played. I haven't even
Yeah.
tried on my Xbox One yet. I mean, I bought it through my Xbox One,
Yeah.
but I'm playing it on my PC.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, I think if it's not, maybe I just read it, but I think there's talk of it coming to iOS.
Oh, okay.
And I really like, here's something that I kind of struggle with. I really like the Telltale games, like,
Sure.
a lot. And I also really like, I'm not, we talked about this last week a little bit. I'm not an achievement hunter,
Mm-hmm.
but if I'm going to play a game that I can get achievements for, that I'm going to play anyways,
Mm-hmm.
then I like to be able to have that and add that, to the roster of things that I've played and stuff. But all of the Telltale games are on iOS. And I almost feel like everything that I've read and the people that I've talked to that have played played those games on iOS say 100% the touchscreen is a better way to interact with those games, as opposed to a controller. Because I mean, if you just think about the games, a lot of times it's like you're in an action sequence and you gotta like move left or right or up or down, and it's literally just swipe and swipe, and then you tap the option that you want to choose. And so I constantly feel like I really would like to move over to iOS to play those games, but then I always think about achievements. But Thimbleweed Park is another one that I agree. I don't really have a PC that runs games, so at least yet. I'm in the process of building that. Sure. So for me, yeah, I think that I think for me, if it came to iOS, it would probably be a slam dunk. That's why it's kind of just on the bubble for me right now.
Cool. The other thing I've been playing, which I think on our last episode, it just came out and we hadn't played it yet. I think, 'cause if I remember right, we were talking and you said you just downloaded it. Marvel Heroes Omega.
Oh, man.
We put a lot of time into that.
Oh, man.
The way that's set up, we actually were kind of wrong in our last episode because we said you get one character for free. The way it's set up, you get like these purple shards or crystals or whatever. And each character, splinters, each character costs so many. And there's only like 5 characters of the 50 or whatever characters there are. There's only 5 you can choose from to unlock. Now you do get Daredevil for free. So if you're playing the game, go to the store, get Daredevil for free. Awesome. For my second character, I'm going to take Hawkeye. So I'm really excited about that. I actually really like Hawkeye a lot. I'm going to spend my points on that. But the game is fantastic because you can play any character up to level 10. And so far, I played Hawkeye to 10, Ant-Man to 10, Ghost Rider to 10, Hulk to 10, and I just started playing through as Spider-Man. So I'm trying all these characters because I'm thinking, okay, before I pull the trigger, should I, just get Hawkeye and be happy with that, or should I wait and earn some shards, maybe spend, because you can spend real money to unlock characters too, but it's like $10 a character.
Yeah.
So it's really,
but for a game that's free,
right?
Like, look, I'm much more I'm much more apt to pay for a game that comes at me for free. It's kind of like the Overwatch, right? Overwatch is a game that you have to pay full price for. Of course, we got it on sale, but you're supposed to pay full price for it, and then but again, they just have all the characters unlocked, which is cool. And so then they sell you loot crates, and so that's all cosmetic stuff. But when you go to a game like this, like Marvel, if they were to charge me $60 for the game, and then I was only going to have one character by the time it was all over with, that would be a different story. But since the game is absolutely free, I mean, I am having a ton of fun with this game. I would have been willing to spend $50 or $60 on this game. Yeah. So if that means I buy 4 or 5 characters that I want to play as, I mean, so be it. I mean, sure. I would end up spending the same amount of money. Plus, you get to support, the team that's making it. I will say, what I love about this is we've been playing it, and I've leveled up completely different characters.
Right.
So I've leveled up Cyclops, and I've leveled up Spider-Man, and I've leveled up Star-Lord, and I've leveled up Captain Marvel, and up to 10 to get that barrier. I did actually I went in and bought, there's a Spider-Man Homecoming pack. It's I think it was $16.99, and you instantly unlock Spider-Man, and then you get the Spider-Man Homecoming suit, the Iron Man, the one that Iron Man makes for him, that you see in Avengers or in Civil War, and then you get the homemade suit, which I showed you. We were playing together, and I showed you, and it's like that hoodie with the little goggles and the little man, such a stinking funny looking costume. And so I have that guy unlocked. I'm probably going to buy Star-Lord for sure. Okay. And then And then I don't know who I actually think I may just hang on to my splinters until I get up to the next level, which is 500.
Mm-hmm.
So so I think you said this, but like your first level is 200, and then there's a 500 level, and there's a 750 level,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like a 1350 level,
Yeah.
and that's like Wolverine and
Pretty much the top tier,
top tier guys,
Marvel
yeah.
characters.
So
right.
but there's a couple in that 500 range that I'm looking at. So I may just hold on to my splinters and get that 500 range and get a character there. But they did give you Daredevil for free. So if you did get the game, you can go online and download Daredevil for free, which is super cool. Listen, I love that game. That game is a blast.
Yeah, it's so good. And the only other thing you mentioned, Overwatch. Overwatch is always great to hop in for a couple quick matches. They just announced Doomfist. He's an official character. Sad to say Terry Crews isn't the voice. It was rumored because he even sent in audition tapes to be Doomfist. I mean, that's how serious he was about it. He didn't do it. Now I don't think he's on Xbox yet. He's only on, I think, PC for like beta players or whatever they call the the early access people. But hopefully he'll be coming to Xbox soon, which is awesome. Now, Chris, before we roll into the main show, is there anything else you've been playing?
It was 4th of July, man. So I haven't really. I think most of my time has been Marvel Legends or Marvel Marvel Heroes.
Marvel Heroes or Mega.
Yeah, it makes me think because I played X-Men Legends and X-Men Legends 2 on the original Xbox.
I played those on GameCube.
Yeah, and then it evolved into Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2.
Yeah.
And now here we are at Marvel Heroes. But I absolutely love that game. So yeah, I think pretty much all my downtime this week in between, cookouts and family time has pretty much just been Marvel Heroes.
Awesome. And it's just, there's something about that formula that's so addictive. Like the gameplay is not complicated. It's very simple, but just, getting loot, getting better armor, and just like we were talking when we were playing the other day, it's a great game where you can just sit back, chill, talk, and just destroy stuff. Like it's just a great game. So if you haven't played it yet,
I was just gonna say, there's a reason the Diablo is one of the best-selling games of all time to this day. I mean, it's just a good formula. So yeah,
it's so good. It's just it's just like Borderlands, kind of like a 3D version of it, where you just get loot and you get loot and you get loot, and it just drives you. And it's so good. But
good.
Okay, Chris, we're gonna roll into the main part of the Xbox Dive show. Okay, recently on our last show, we talked about a little game called Cuphead.
Yes.
And this is a game that we're both super, super excited for.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's a, hand-drawn 2D boss battle platformer. It's got some platforming levels in between, and the big, what do you want to call it? The big push in this game is the co-op, right?
Of course.
Because all the trailers, it shows Cuphead and Mugman, the two heroes of the game. And all along, we planned to co-op this game online. That's exactly what we wanted to do.
Yep.
But when the description came out, it said that this game was couch co-op only. Now, I know you reached out to Studio MDHR.
Yep.
And what did they tell you?
Yeah, so actually, this is funny enough. This was during the show last week. We when this first kind of broke, and I tweeted MDHR, and I was just like, "Hey guys, the ad on Xbox says that it is local co-op only, and can you just confirm if that's an error, if it's coming later, whatever?" And they basically tweeted back, and I don't have it right in front of me, so this is a paraphrase, but they basically just said. Yeah, so I mean, they basically just said that it is confirmed local only, and that they would love to do, multiplayer online in the future if possible. So they basically just confirmed. I'm gonna pull up the tweet just to read it, but they basically did confirm exactly what the listing says, which really kind of hurt our feelings.
Sure. Now,
So
like I said, I really, really hope because they can still add it, right? I mean, they can always patch it and add it, which would be awesome. And I mean, let me ask you real quick, just your opinion. Why do you think they did couch co-op only? Why do you think? What's stopping them from doing online play? I mean, the only thing I can think of is lag because this game is very, very Twitch heavy. But at the same time, like fighters online, they're very Twitch heavy, and they still play online. I mean, even Smash Brothers can play online. So I mean, what do you think is stopping this team from putting it online?
So, and we're actually going to talk about this a little bit later
Sure.
in another part of our show. But I actually think it has less to do with like limitations of the format than it does of just limitations of the development team.
Okay.
So this is the quote back from Studio MDHR, and this is what they said. So I'm going to read it. So this is an exact quote. It says local. So again, my question was, can you confirm if online co-op will be available or local co-op only? And their response was local at launch, and then we are going to look into the possibility / feasibility of online co-op. So what that tells me is, number one, they're obviously interested in it, but to understand a little bit more about the studio and what they've done. So MDHR initially started as just two guys, two brothers,
Right.
And they actually they had a really good interview where it talks about they ended up quitting their jobs and remortgaging their houses just to be able to build a team.
Sure. Now we'll get into that later on in the show.
So anyways, so to come back to your question, I think that it has more to do with whenever you have two guys, or even when you add a few extra teammates, it's like, what do you need to do to get the game out of the door?
Right.
And online is a very advanced feature and a very advanced function that to us, who just play games and don't really understand the in and outs of it, probably don't understand everything that entails that, especially for a Twitch-based game like this.
Sure.
But for me, at the end of the day, I think it just came down to them being like, look, we only have so much time, we only have so much resources, we're going to make the best experience that we can, local co-op, and then once it's all said and done, if we can come back and do that, then we'll talk about that then.
Sure. And I'm excited for the game regardless, because I'll play this through the whole thing single player, because with the way my life is now, I don't really have the option, at least not that often, to play with another person. Because I know that's not a game my wife will play. Right.
You get Brittany on it. She can be Mugman.
Well, I mean, thinking about this, though, in couch co-op and online co-op, there's been recent games like this. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened. So, with Cuphead being couch co-op only, we've had other games that are completely the opposite. Halo 5, first thing that pops into my head, it did not have split screen couch co-op. And that's the first time I think that Halo has not had local co-op.
Yes.
And I remember that was a very, very big deal.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of grief.
Yeah, and I mean it was a great game. I'm glad, my lifestyle's kind of changed to the point where if I'm going to play co-op, I'm playing it online. I'm not playing it on the couch. So Halo 5 to me worked out perfectly. But like you said, there's a lot of people, they had to be in person, right? Because like my brother-in-law and I, we played through, all the Halo games in co-op. Sometimes he was over at my place. Sometimes we played online. But, it was great to have that option. But let me ask you, are there any games you can think of off the top of your head where you think, man, I wish that had split screen, or I wish that had local co-op?
Yeah, so I actually brought this up right after E3, and a lot of it came back to so here's the thing. I never really had a lot of people to play with it online. I didn't really have a deep friend base that I could connect to and play online like on a regular basis. So most of my multiplayer gaming experience has been local, and I've been fine with that. And and then of course like multiplayer Call of Duty and stuff like that I've played occasionally throughout the years. But it really wasn't until me and you started getting together and playing that I really kind of found the drive for playing games, and just the, maybe not the drive, but just the advantage and the enjoyment of playing games like that. So we co-opted all 4 Gears of War games, which was a blast.
We did do Judgment though. We skipped that.
We gotta go back. We gotta go back to Judgment.
Yeah.
We did Overwatch. Now we're doing that, and we've been playing Marvel Heroes, which has been a lot of fun. And then we're talking about going back and doing Halo, which would be super fun. So now that I have somebody to play with, this actually does come to mind.
I might back out eventually, but like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. As soon as I make you mad, as soon as I talk about Metroid Prime or something and get you ticked off and you don't talk to me anymore. But for me, like, instantly the game that comes to mind, which I said right after E3, was Assassin's Creed. And I have a blast with Assassin's Creed, and so I've been playing through Syndicate because E3 got me hyped for Origins. And in Syndicate, you play as Ellie and Jacob, so you have 2 main protagonists, and they all have, there's a fly right in my camera, it's driving me crazy. They both have their own kind of missions and stuff, and I just think it would be super cool to play in an open sandbox like that, 2-player online co-op. I think that would be super fun, and so I don't know how split screen would work. One of the things that I have found now playing with you more is, like, I'm kind of stingy with the screen. And now when I think about playing Gears of War and I have to cut off half of my screen to play with somebody, I'm like, nah, I'll just play with James because I can get all my real estate back. But no, Assassin's Creed comes to mind because I think those worlds are so interesting, and they're so big and just vast, and being able to drop 2 people in there, it makes me think a lot like Grand Theft Auto Online. I don't know if you've ever played that or not. But Grand Theft Auto Online is awesome, and so it's kind of that vibe, but not just, the thing about Grand Theft Auto is it's just random open world stuff. It's not story stuff. So I'd actually like to be able to play through co-op the Assassin's Creed story with a second player. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, that would be great. Now, like I said before, there is online co-op in Unity. No, I don't think there's any split screen co-op, but there is online co-op in Unity. It wasn't that great, but it was there. But I will agree with you about the split screen thing, because it's kind of funny how we get selfish of our screen space. Because like when my wife and I had mentioned multiple times, playing the Disney Infinity, and especially the Lego games, right? When you get that split screen and you only see half the screen, and you're missing seeing so much stuff. And like, I know there's something over there, but I can't see it because my wife is way over here, and the way the split screen happens. And so I agree. Like, there are times where I love having online co-op. But now, I've got another question for you, though.
Hit me.
With the way technology is going, with the way the Xbox is going, and PlayStation, all these systems, it's all about being, resource hungry, right? To make these games look great, run great. And the whole reason Halo 5 didn't have couch co-op was because they said they didn't have the resources for it, right? So let me ask you this. Is split screen a thing of the past? Because the way video games are evolving, all these big... Now, I will say indie games, things like that, I think they'll always have co-op in it. Certain companies like Nintendo will always have co-op in it. But these big AAA titles, do you think split screen co-op is dead?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's dead, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with talking about things like Nintendo and Lego games and stuff. So here's my answer to that. I think split screen games are something that is more readily accessible to a younger audience. Oh, sure. And what I mean by that is, like, as a grown man now, there are very few.
Are?
Well, Get that? I mean, that's what my license says.
Oh, sure, sure.
But no, like, very few times. I mean, I'm married. I have 4 kids. There are very few times that, like, one of my friends just pops over and is like, hey, let's play some Gears of War.
Right.
Like, that just doesn't happen, right? What happens now, more than not, is the kids go to bed, wife goes to bed, and then I get online with you, or I get online, there's a couple guys that I play Madden with, and we'll play online like that. So I don't necessarily think that the move away from it is because I do think there's some technical hurdles, obviously, but I think what they're starting to see is those games that are focused more at adult gamers. I think the majority of us don't have a group of friends that is constantly just hanging around your house all the time.
Sure.
And so rather than put the effort into making basically rendering your screen twice, they just take all that juice and making a beautiful, perfect, picture that you can then go online with and play with anybody that you want. So that's kind of where. So I think that games like any Lego game, I think that the games like anything like that, Mario games, stuff like that's always going to have split screen. I think that's always going to be there.
Sure, absolutely. And we do have that new game from EA, the guy from Brothers Tale of Two.
That's right.
Sons,
yep.
That was called his new game, the one where they break out of prison. What is that called?
It's called A Way Out.
A Way Out. That's right. And that game it totally breaks anything you think about split screen, because whether you're playing online or on the couch, it is split screen at all times. But it still looks awesome. Hopefully we'll have a Let's Play of that, when that comes out, get that online, because that could be a lot of fun, live streaming that game. But, okay, guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like that game is built for that. So I mean, I do think that you may see some split screen experiences that are built specifically because that's needed.
Sure.
So obviously that will be in there. But yeah, I would just say, kind of just real quick to kind of tie it up. You're always going to want to have games that you can play together. What I really like is I like games like Jackbox.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't actually split the screen, but it gives you your own screen. Like, I could see more stuff like that taking off. Like, I could see even like a game like Halo Wars, where you could actually control your units on like a smart screen. And then just have like one main map or something on the TV, so where you're playing independently and then the screen kind of stays.
Sure.
And again, you're not having to render the game twice because your app at that point is doing. So I think, especially with Microsoft, because they interact with so many different devices and things, I think we will see future evolutions of different ways to play around the living room together that don't necessarily require split screen.
Awesome. Okay, guys, what do you guys think of co-op? How do you play? Do you normally play online with friends, or do you ever play on the couch, with having a friend over or whatever that is? Play with your spouse like we do? How do you guys play games in multiplayer? Let us know. And do you think, split screen is dying, or do you think it's alive and well? Let us know. If you're watching on the YouTube, let us know in the comments. And as I mentioned, you can always hit us up on our Facebook community group for the Xbox Dive. And don't forget, if you are in our live chat on mixer.com/the Xbox Dive, you can also hit us up there. That would be awesome. Now, how we normally run this show, we each bring a topic to the table. And there was something very important you wanted to talk about this week. And what is that?
Yeah, so there's been some rumors going around about probably, I would say, one of my most anticipated games, maybe the most anticipated game that I have on my list right now, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. So I've expressed my love for the first game on the show, several times, and other places that I've been. I absolutely love Red Dead. I think it's almost just a perfect game, and probably my favorite game on the 360. So I've been super excited about this. But there have been a couple of rumors that have come out. Actually, I say that one is kind of confirmed, but we'll talk about both of them. So the first one has to do with we're going to kind of go backwards.
Nothing is ever easy with you, man.
That's right. In the way of importance. So the first one comes back in April. So back in April, Windows Insider confirmed a list of games, and they confirmed this. They were a list of games that would take advantage of 4K on the Xbox Scorpio. Again, in April, still known as a Scorpio. On that list of games, they included Red Dead Redemption 2. So we know that 4K support's coming. Now, I do want to talk about this. I want to give you the other piece of news first, and then we'll kind of circle back around. But just something to be thinking about, PlayStation 4 Pro cannot render 4K games.
Well,
it upscales.
I was going to say, it renders 4K. It's kind of like what the IGN people call it, because it's like a checkerboard version of 4K. It's not true 4K.
It's not true 4K.
Right.
Yeah.
It's 4K, but it's not true 4K.
So just the top just the top of the line here. If the game is rendering 4K, it is going to look better on the Xbox One X because it renders true 4K.
Sure.
Okay. Now we don't have to argue semantics. That is just facts,
well, this is an Xbox show, so if you want to praise Xbox.
But if you're a PlayStation fan, Josh Brandt, understand that while it will still be a 4K resolution, it is not going to look apples to apples because the Xbox One X will always look better. Okay, that is fact. All right, that's the first thing. Second rumor. This is actually a rumor, and please take this with a grain of salt. All right, but this comes from a whole spoonful. But this comes from comicbook.com, and comicbook.com has an insider in Rockstar that they have gotten other information from that has been confirmed, things like when the first screens were going to drop and when the fact that the game was going to get delayed, and those things came from the source and then they confirmed to be true. So comicbook.com trusts this source. We have no idea, and there's nobody else to corroborate the story, so we are taking it on that face value alone. But I'm going to read the quote to you. First I'm going to read the quote to you from Rockstar, and this is when Rockstar announced the delay. This is what they said: "This outlaw epic set across the vast and unforgiving American heartland will be the first Rockstar game created from the ground up for the latest generation of console hardware, and some extra time is necessary to ensure that we can deliver the best experience possible to our fans. We are very sorry for any disappointment this delay causes, but we are firm believers in delivering a game only when it is ready. We will be really excited to bring you more details about the game this summer." So that is the quote when they released the delay, which is when they pushed it back into 2018. Okay. Now the rumor that comes from comicbook.com says that they believe that it was actually pushed back due to the fact that Rockstar wants to have cross-play between Xbox and a PlayStation.
Okay.
And
PC, I'm assuming.
And PC, yeah. But that Sony, as we know now, Sony is having some trouble with crossplay, is not really going along with it, which then causes them to delay the game. Because either A, they're going to have to change that, or B, they're still fighting to figure it out. Sure. We don't know the details. Again, we don't know any details about this, but it brings up an interesting point that it looks like the possibility is Sony could be forcing this game to kind of change a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about, we can talk about both of these rumors however you want to take it. Sure. But what this actually kind of sounds like is there is quite possibly the case that Red Dead Redemption may be best played on an Xbox One. If crossplay is there between Xbox and PC, and if true 4K, the way you're really supposed to see it, is on Xbox One X only, like that may take whatever momentum the PlayStation has, like that changes the game, or at least the narrative about what Red Dead Redemption could turn out. So that's been a lot, so why don't you go ahead?
Sure. I was just going to ask a quick question. I'm kind of looking it up here. Was Red Dead Redemption 2 ever confirmed for PC? I can't remember, because the first one, I think it came to PC. I mean, I can't, because the problem is I don't play a lot of, I've got an okay PC, but I don't play a lot of PC games. Let's see here. It looks like Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't coming to PC because they didn't register it, at least as of right now. So it might come to PC. But one thing I want to say with the crossplay, if Rockstar is going to do crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox, that is huge. This is the first news we've heard of a AAA game from a big studio making crossplay, which would be absolutely insane, and that would be so amazing. Because like we mentioned in our last show, honestly, we love Xbox, right? But we really want everyone to just kind of game together, right? Sure. People in the PlayStation camp, people in the Xbox camp playing together, that'd be awesome, right? I mean, it could even bring up the rivalry a little bit more. Team Xbox versus Team PlayStation Online.
That'd be amazing.
It'd be great. But I don't know what's stopping them, because with Minecraft and Rocket League, we know the reason Sony doesn't want to do it. I mean, they say it's for the children, right? But the main issue is that they're using Xbox Live to power the crossplay.
Yeah.
So PC, Switch, and Xbox are all using Xbox Live to talk to each other. And Sony doesn't want to hop on that bandwagon. They're like, look, we have our own online infrastructure. Now, here's the thing I'm wondering. As I mentioned, I own all 3 consoles. I've got a Switch, I got a PS4, and I got an Xbox One, right? But one thing I've known about PlayStation, ever since PlayStation 3 generation, right? Because I always try to own all the consoles. When you compare online services, Xbox by far has the better, more stable, more feature-filled service than PlayStation. On PlayStation, you can't even change your name, right? And the little bit I'm playing my PlayStation, like right now I'm playing through Ratchet and Clank, I can't tell you how many times like the service will be down, right? And so I'm wondering if it's less about Sony agreeing to crossplay, or if it's more that their online infrastructure can't handle it. Because even little things, like, because I was reading I think it was a tweet or something online where Sony came out and said, you can now sync your trophies faster. And I totally forgot. On Xbox, as you earn achievements, your stuff automatically syncs. It's just what it does. Your cloud saves, your achievements, they sync, you're good. PlayStation, you have to physically go into the trophy section of your PlayStation, and it'll say syncing trophies. The little percentage goes up, and you can see it syncing with your cloud save.
Really?
Yes, it doesn't do it automatically.
Man.
So I'm like, and another thing, I could go on and on forever, but the whole point is, I wonder if it is the online infrastructure of Sony itself that's causing the problem.
Yeah.
Because maybe Rockstar wants this crossplay so badly, they're working with Sony to try to get it to work. Because sure. I bet you right now, the easy solution would be to allow Sony users to log into Xbox Live, just like Switch is doing. It would probably work flawlessly. But great. Knowing Sony, they want to stick to the guns, stick to their own infrastructure, which I understand, it's fine, but they're not talking, right? Yeah. Sony, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live are not talking. At least that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah, I mean that could be absolutely the case. I think at this point, I look at Rockstar specifically, but I look at Red Dead as the crown jewel.
Sure.
And I don't think there's a world, no matter how far ahead Sony is, I don't think there's a world where Sony just says, we're not going to do it. You can just take a hike, right? So, like, I think if Rockstar is set on going cross-platform, like, Sony is going to make that work. They are not going to let Red Dead Redemption walk out the door, especially with the install base that they have. I mean, that could literally turn the tide in the console market share if that went exclusive to Xbox. I'm just saying
it won't. But I don't know if it won't.
It won't. Yeah. If Rockstar came out to, dude, look at the NDAs, or not the NDAs, the NPDs. Look at the NPDs. Every single month after month, GTA is in the top 5 games, best selling. I think it was 4 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. If Xbox was able to secure an exclusive launch of Red Dead on their platform only, that would sell machines. Now, I'm not saying that they will. Well, they absolutely won't.
Honestly, I think Xbox would be afraid to do that. Because remember how Tomb Raider blew up in their face? I don't think they're going to do that again.
No, and I don't think they will either. What I'm saying is I don't think Sony would let them. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Sony would let it go to that way because I think that they absolutely know how important that game is. So if cross-platform is what they're trying to accomplish, like I think that you may be onto something. They may be trying to overhaul the infrastructure on the PSN infrastructure just to make sure that the game works. But dude, can you imagine what that announcement's going to be when it's like, hey, this game's coming out and you can play online with Xbox players, with PC players, with PlayStation players, and that's the first AAA like title to do that. Yeah. That would be huge. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Jumping into Red Dead Online and rolling up with your Xbox posse.
Yeah.
Dude, all day I will kill me some PlayStation fools left and right, and I hope that happens.
Honestly, I thought the first big game to do it would be Madden. Just because I think it'd be a big sports game like FIFA or Madden or something like that. But if it's Red Dead, I'm all for it. Yeah. But anything else on this topic before we wrap this up, Chris?
No, I think we're good. I just think it's funny that like crossplay has come up the last 2 weeks of our show,
right?
And I think that I think this is a bigger conversation than people are thinking that it is right now. And I think that in a year's time, 2 years tops, like crossplay is going to be a huge part of the video game industry. So
sure, cool. Well, what do you guys think? Is crossplay super important? And what do you guys think about this delay on Red Dead? Do you really think it's coming down to crossplay? And if so, what's stopping them? Let us know if you're watching on YouTube in the comments down below. You can also hit us up on our Facebook community for the Xbox Dive. So make sure to hit us up there or on Twitter at the Xbox Dive. Every week, we do something special. We do 3 topics a show, right? I pick a topic, you pick a topic, and then we let our community over at the Xbox Dive on Facebook
great community,
which is an awesome community. Like we mentioned earlier, we've got such a great community that's interactive and does these polls and posts awesome stuff in there. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure to check that out.
Yep.
But this week, we put up 3 options. The first option was, Cuphead is a true Xbox One exclusive, but is that a good thing? The second topic we had, talking about the new character coming to Overwatch, which was Doomfist. And
Doomfist!
The third topic of choice was, is the Xbox One X too powerful for its own good? Now, we ran that, on our Xbox Dive Facebook community, and the winner of that was Cuphead. So we're bringing Cuphead back. I know we already talked about Cuphead in the show earlier, but it's such a good topic and it's coming up soon. We've been waiting years for it. In the community, this is what you guys want to hear us talk about. So, like I said, Cuphead, Studio MDHR came out and said Cuphead is 100% Xbox console exclusive. It will be coming to PC and eventually will come to Mac. And I believe it's Play Anywhere. So if you buy it on Xbox One, you also get the PC copy, which is awesome. But the real question that people are asking, with Cuphead as an exclusive, is this a good thing for that small 2-man company? Now, Chris, you were kind of alluding to this earlier. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I am getting more and more to the point where I'm not a fan of exclusives, and I think that really the only person that I see that benefits from exclusives is hardware manufacturers, because software developers are limiting their audience where they can reach, and consumers are limiting the games that they can play. Like, unless I go out and buy 3 independent machines, I am not going to be able to play Spider-Man. And I'm not going to be able to play Mario Odyssey, right, if I'm just an Xbox gamer. And there are people out there that can't afford 2 or 3 consoles apiece, And so for me, I don't like the idea of exclusive games as a whole. And I know they'll always be there to a certain degree, but the less that are there, the happier that I actually am about it. But we started talking about this before, and I'll kind of explain my concern with going back into the details of this game. So in 2005, they showed this game at E3.
Man, it's been that long.
Yeah, well, yes. And that game exploded. like people saw that game, and if you remember the very first time they showed it, it was just a like 10-second clip on like an indie reel.
Right.
And that game
it was just super small.
Exploded. Yes. And Microsoft came to him and said, we're going to make this game, like this game, we're going to push this game. And so after the buzz in 2005.
Are you sure it was 2005? And that's a really long time ago.
Oh, no. Sorry, not 2005.
Oh, that's a really long time ago. That's 12 years ago.
No, 2015.
Thank you. Because you said 2005 twice. I'm like, that's a long time, man.
12 years? No, it's not been in development that long.
Well, I knew it was all hand-drawn, but my gosh.
Oh, man. That's way longer than it's supposed to be. Right. So, yeah, so it's just 2 years. So it's been 2015. So they showed it, and if you'll remember what happened, they it exploded. People were like, yes, but Microsoft wanted more content in it.
Right.
And so what the brothers ended up doing was the brothers ended up quitting their jobs. Mm-hmm. They remortgaged their house so they could afford to pay additional help to build a small team. Right. And now for 2 years they've been still working on this game. Mm-hmm. And now it's going to come to one platform, which is the lesser of the two platforms,
as far as overall console install.
Yes. So as far as install base, you're going to reach a lower audience just because of sheer numbers. Mm-hmm. And they have to make up now 4, 5, 6 years of their life, however long it's been.
Yeah, it said they began development back in 2010.
Yeah, so they're making up 7 years of their life and 2 years of jobless development. Mm-hmm. That's huge. Now, I do not think for a second that Microsoft didn't pay them something. Right. Or agree to pay them something for getting exclusive content. It's not just like, hey, we're going to market your game. There had to have been some sort of monetary value attached to that. But even still, man, that's very, very risky to come out. And so I'll stop there. I have something else that I want to say, but I'll kind of let you share your thoughts, and we can kind of jump back in.
Sure. And I'm wondering the same thing, because as far as I know, Microsoft has been, pretty supportive of their indie teams. And so if Microsoft came to them and said, look, we want you to add, because it wasn't just a boss rush game. That's what it was. But Microsoft said, no, we want platforming levels in between. And they weren't ready for that yet. And to my understanding, last time they showed it off, which was 2 years ago, I think, the platforming levels weren't received very well. And I think it's because they had to rush them, right? I felt like they were rushing to get them out. But I'm wondering if Microsoft wanted the levels, why wouldn't they provide the team members? Does that make sense? Because, they're the ones pushing them back. I think they could have added some kind of bonus, because I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what kind of deal they work between MDHR and Microsoft. But if what they say is true, they spent 7 years working on this game with two guys, hand-drawing it all. They're mortgaging their houses to be able to live to make this game. Yeah. If this game isn't successful, this is going to ruin their lives, right? They've lost everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So if you're listening to this, buy Cuphead. Go pre-order it right now. It's only $19.99. $19.99. Yeah. So
one of the things I already know that.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I was going to bring up real quick, we had a couple of the guys on the Facebook channel kind of talking back and forth about this. So I want to kind of address it. An analogy to this game came up in the way of Titanfall on the Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And so Titanfall 1 did really well on the Xbox One, and then Titanfall 2 came out and seemed to kind of stutter in a number of different ways. Now, Titanfall 2 still sold well, but it didn't meet expectations. So,
I think part of the problem with Titanfall 2 was that it burned two bridges, right? Because the Xbox fans were like, it's no longer exclusive. You're turning your backs on us, EA. We're not going to buy it. PlayStation fans were like, we didn't get the first one. We don't want the second one, even though they demanded it. And so it kind of like they just kind of like clashed. And so
on top of that, Battlefield 1 was released right before it, and Call of Duty was released right after it. However, all of that being said, like that is still the risk with this game, because here's what Studio MDHR has said. They own the rights, the IP rights to the character. They own Cuphead.
Right.
So Cuphead 2, the Return
If it
of
ever
Mugman.
happens. Right.
If it ever happens, they can put it on whatever platform they want if they decide to go multi-platform.
Yeah.
But then they run the risk of, let's say that, that Cuphead does turn out to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that do to the overall legacy of that franchise if it does end up going multi-platform? Will the Xbox fans be like, oh, we don't care now because now they're going back to PlayStation? And will the PlayStation fans be like, oh, well, you didn't care about us the first time, so why are we going to care about you now?
Sure.
Like that's a huge risk. And when you're looking at it from a small team, man, it's just a lot of risk involved with a team like that.
Right. It's rough. I mean, the one thing I'm thinking of, though, they're technically an indie studio. Broken Age just hit Xbox One 2.5 years after it hit everywhere else.
Yeah.
But Xbox fans, as far as I can tell, are still happy it's here. They're happy they can finally play it. And so I feel like Cuphead is something special. Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Where Titanfall was a shooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like you said, shooters, they're a dime a dozen, right? Because you got Battlefield, you got Battlefront, you got Call of Duty, you've got, all these games, all these shooters, Halo, right? And Cuphead, there's nothing else like this on the market.
I agree. Yeah.
And this game, as long as it reviews well, it could, in theory, be a system seller, which which sounds crazy, but hear me out on this. Josh Brandt, who is our over at Life of Game, and he is the PlayStation guy. Like, he loves PlayStation. He lives and breathes PlayStation. But he is so excited for Cuphead. He said, if I could get any game on Xbox over to PlayStation, it would be Cuphead. That is the game I want more than anything. So there are people out there that say, yes, Cuphead is amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Cuphead itself would sell a system, but if you put, like, Cuphead's like the cherry on top, right?
Yeah.
Because you got your Halo, you got your Gears, you got your Forza, and now you also have Cuphead.
That's true. Yeah. So, my final thoughts here is just that the question that we asked was, is this being exclusive? Is it a good thing? And I think more than not, I think that it's not a good thing.
Right.
I think exclusive content is not great. But I will say Microsoft is going to go out of their way to really push this game. They already have, and they will continue to do that. And I feel like Microsoft is doing right by the team. So I'm really hopeful they're going to see some good success with it.
And like they've been promoting it like crazy any chance they get. Like over on Major Nelson Radio, his podcast, they always bring up Cuphead. We always bring up Cuphead. And at least from our inner circles of conversation, there's always this fervor of, where is Cuphead? We want Cuphead. So we know the demand is there. But I agree that when they make it exclusive, but it's hurting the developers, that's a bad thing. Now, I don't know. Now, if Microsoft or someone else could step in and help pay and help finish the game, bring in team members, whatever it costs, awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we don't know what's in that deal. But I agree. I think overall, exclusives, it's a double-edged sword, right? You need them to sell systems, but at the same time, we've been talking about a one console future and how much we'd like that, or like, games that can play on anything, or, that's a whole other story for another day. But I agree that with a studio this small, in the long run, this could really hurt them.
Yep.
So, what do you think, guys? I mean, I'm assuming you're all excited for Cuphead, because who wouldn't be excited for Cuphead? It's going to be amazing. But what do you think about exclusives, especially for indie games? With small studios like this, where they have to actually, take out another mortgage on their home just to finish the game. What do you guys think about that kind of exclusives? What do you think Microsoft or another studio should help with the development? What should they do to help complete this project so these small developers don't have to, pretty much pick up their entire lives like this, once this game is released? So, let us know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know there. As I mentioned, you can also hit us up on Twitter at the Xbox Dive, and also make sure to check out the Xbox Dive community group on Facebook, because that's where the majority of this conversation goes on. So, Chris, we've got another show in the books. Episode
Xbox
number 4.
Dive number 4.
Hopefully you guys have still stuck around and are enjoying the show. We hope you enjoy it, because we enjoy making it. And, Chris and I have been talking. We just absolutely love all that community feedback we're getting in that group. Just the fact that you guys are taking it upon yourselves to share news stories with us. Or share, photos with us, or share polls with us. Like I mentioned earlier, Chuck Scherer and Ben Horner, like these guys who go on there, and you guys are making this. You guys are helping us make the show. You're helping us make this group, and we couldn't be more thankful. We absolutely love this. As we mentioned earlier, the audio version of this goes up every Monday on iTunes and the Google Play Store. So go on there, rate us. We would absolutely love it. Actually, if you know a friend who loves Xbox, who loves video games, say, check out this awesome show. And hopefully they like it. They might not, but you never know. Also, check out our YouTube page. Subscribe on there as well. Right now, we got some clips from this going up, a couple times a week. We're hoping to get more up in the future, such as reviews and, just smaller bits of, different content. So stick around for that. And also, Xbox Dive Live, we co-op games online, like we mentioned. We're playing on more Overwatch, more Marvel Heroes, so make sure to follow the Xbox Dive on Mixer.com. I'm trying to think, is there anything else, Chris, that we need to hit up? I guess, let me ask, where can people find you, sir?
Sure, you can find me always on Twitter at NeoLego. That's NeoLego, or just what's at the bottom of my picture.
That is right.
And you can also follow me on Xbox at NeoLego, so that's where I do most of my playing at, so that's where you can find me.
Awesome. As for myself, as we mentioned, on Xbox and on Mixer and actually on PlayStation, everywhere, Jamester0722. So if you want to follow me around, that's where you can find me. But we have another wonderful Xbox Dive in the can. So
Bam.
Until next time, guys. We are out.
Bye.